Well, hello everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. What a wonderful way to start with some elephants at Tau in Madikwe Game Reserve. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the show today, and I'm very, very excited to be back with the Live at the Waterhole family, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we see and just chatting to all of you again and sharing about where I went and what I did, but also about the beautiful animals that we get to see that come down to the waterhole. Remember that this is, of course, a live and interactive show, so please do say hello to me. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from, what you're hoping to see today, any highlights over the last sort of week and a bit that I've been away that you'd like to share with me. Any updates on the animals that we see, or any special sightings maybe along the way. I'd love to know. And remember that you can send those through via the Wild Earth website or the app. You can also chat to us in the YouTube chat stream, as well as joining the conversation on X using the hashtag Wild Earth. And remember that a recent addition to sending through comments and questions is that you can do so on WhatsApp, which is super convenient and a really cool way for you to interact very easily through your cell phone. And the number's being shown to you now, so you can just add Wild Earth as a contact and then WhatsApp those messages through to us with any comments or questions that you may have. Well, it looks like it's a mom and calf here that have come for a bit of a drink. I don't see too much splashing around or cooling down. There was a zebra that moved past, but it looks like they did throw themselves with a little bit of water or mud earlier. It's quite dry already. Wildlife lady, hello to you. Thank you. Yes, it was wonderful. I went away for a bit and spent some time in Zululand in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, and it was wonderful. Plenty of wild places and lots of birdies, which I'm very happy about, but also just to be in nature and relax in the beauty that is Zululand. Mindy, I hear what you're saying. If someone is watching and has no idea what an elephant should look like, I can tell you that they are a grey animal, but their color varies sometimes depending on the soil that they interact with. you can see that this cow has some white markings on her trunk, and that's from the very white sandy soil or clay or whatever is surrounding her. Maybe she got onto her knees a little bit or threw herself with some of that much lighter. It almost looks white from here, but that is also the camera affecting the color. It's probably a very light gray. Unati, hello. You want to know if this is Zululand? No, so this is not. This is actually in the northwest province of South Africa. It's a lot closer to Johannesburg, Gauteng province, just sort of to the western side of Gauteng, and a much more dry, arid type of area in comparison to Zululand, which is a very specific region in South Africa that is north, the most northern parts of the province called KwaZulu-Natal, which is on the eastern coast of South Africa, just below Mozambique. We actually do have a camera in Zululand. It's called Tembe Elephant Park. We do sometimes visit it during the show, depending on what's happening. And at this time of year, you don't actually, let's say the difference between somewhere like Tau, where we are at the moment, and somewhere like Tembe isn't that obvious because it's very green here. But in comparison, in the wintertime, and as we are heading into the dry season, you're going to begin to notice such a big difference between areas like Madikwe and then areas like Tembe, where Zululand generally stays pretty much green all year. It does fade somewhat, definitely, but there's a much higher rainfall and vegetation type there that thrives on a very high rainfall level. Speaking of which, and looking at zebras, let's head over to Tembe with some zebras now. My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift and Explorer.
so that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday.
Simangaliso, that whole sort of area all the way up to Cape Vidal. It was really beautiful, and our minds were blown with the birds that we got to see. And just it's known as Isimangaliso Wetland Park for a reason. And it was my first time really seeing the wetlands. We saw buffalo, there's elephant in the park. So it's really amazing to have that sort of incredible experience of viewing wildlife so close to the ocean, which is something that you don't always associate one with the other. But it's a very cool area. We didn't do this this time. It's a little bit past the season for the turtles, which is a very special thing that happens around Cape Vidal and up that coastline, where the leatherback and loggerhead turtles come out the water to lay their eggs in December, and then about a month or so later, I believe, the little ones come out and go down to the sea, which is something still on my bucket list to see. But this is all sort of the area that I'm speaking about. And then we went down a little bit further south to areas around Mtunzini and Eshawi. We went to Ongoya Forest, which is the very famous forest in Zululand where the green barbet lives. It's the only population of green barbets outside of the other population in Tanzania. Very limited and very few of those birds left, about 200 breeding pairs or so in South Africa. They can only be found in that forest. So that was also a little bucket list tick to go and see that bird. We were very lucky to find it. And then we went to the beautiful forest, mistbelt forest around Eshawi called Glinza. And we did the aerial boardwalk there, and we got to see the eastern bronze-nape pigeon, which, oh my word, I couldn't believe it, but it happened. And it was just beautiful to see just so many different tree types. I mean, botany in terms of tree species and things like that can be a little bit overwhelming, to say the least. But I will say that it is something that the trees make an area. The vegetation gives you a certain feeling of an area. You might not realize it, but subconsciously you're noticing that this area looks a certain way and another area looks a different way. And that has to do with the vegetation that we are surrounded with. And in these beautiful sort of forest areas of Zululand, you've got these things like fluted milkwoods, for example. You've got areas of special, very endangered biome called sand forest, which is home to things like the African broadbill and some other special birds that are really limited only to that, which is made up of lebombo wattles and torchwoods or greenthorn trees. So my eyes were really opened in terms of just absorbing so much of our beautiful country in a different region, which actually I started my guiding career in, but moved quite quickly into the Lowveld. So it was really nice to go back and visit that again. Oh, very cute. It's time for our dose of adorableness. Let's head over to Stony Point. it looks like these two came out from the water and are just drying off. You can see how some of their feathers are still a little bit shiny, and I think that's from the water, from the ocean, as they've come out, and now they found a great little spot where they are sunning themselves. Oh goodness. This is interesting. We are heading into one of the peak breeding times for African penguins. I wonder if this isn't a pair. I don't know what that was. A little bit of sort of bonding maybe. I can't say I'm exceptionally well versed in African penguin behavior. I'm learning so much from just having our cameras here at Stony Point with them. This one closest to us has a feather stuck in its beak. Obviously was doing some preening, applying some preening oil to its feathers, and it's just got one loose one that's stuck there. Ooh, I feel like maybe they had an argument because the one's now turned its back to the other one. That was a bit of a squabble. It's like, fine. Ellie, you say Viking could be bonding, but also fighting. It depends. Lol. I mean, that is the story of the animal kingdom, I would say. If it's, behavior that's quite close to that could be mating or fighting or bonding, as you say, are sometimes very similar. So it's difficult to know, are these two fighting or are they bonding in order to mate or something like that. So Gwen is directing our show today, and she is just asking if they'd mate in the open. So yes, if a copulation did occur, it would be most likely near the nesting site itself. So this rock wouldn't be an ideal nesting site in terms of the waves and things like that. They'd usually do it a little bit higher up on the ground, on the shoreline, either in the sand or sometimes, I believe, even with the proximity to Betty's Bay right here, that sometimes residents have penguins nest right sort of at the edge of their lawns and things like that, where they feel safe to do so, which is very cool. But like most animals, I suppose, mating happens when it happens, and they don't really go into anywhere private to do so.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
Haina nchumo, haina maka. Emavo kwenye ya mbilu, haina maka. Lifasila mina ritapela. Zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
Mom produces her milk for, really, but it is, I've seen some very large babies, inverted commas babies, because they're not babies anymore, still trying to get milk from mom. Raw, hello to you. You say a good day, Amy. It's good to hear you. When an Eddie's spine is very prominent, does it mean that it's old or out of condition? So it's an interesting one, Raw, and it actually links a little bit to Picasso. Earlier you asked a question as well to know if an elephant bull is obese. When it comes to wild animals specifically, anything in captivity that is not given sort of its natural area and time to be active and do its normal animal things, can potentially gain an unhealthy amount of weight. But out here in the wild, it's very difficult to find an obese animal. They eat what they need. They are constantly burning calories, doing what they need to do, and everything is just perfectly in balance. You do see animals that can be underweight, And just to point out that this elephant that's about to spray itself with a whole bunch of mud is going to show you what I was speaking about earlier, when they sort of change color with the mud that they throw on themselves, which is fascinating to see, but that's all to do with cooling down. Anyway, when it comes to the spine sticking out, if you have a look raw at all of these animals here, all of them have their spine sticking out, especially over the back. And so these elephants are, elephants in general, almost always, I've never seen an elephant without that spine sticking out. And it just shows that they are just the right weight in terms of what they should be. As they do get older, sometimes that spine does become more prominent. I have noticed that because they are losing weight because of lack of nutrition. Because as they're getting very old, and that all links back to the sets of teeth that they have in their mouth, 6 sets in a lifetime. And by the time that last set comes in at around 30 years old, they don't get another set until eventually they die. So that last set, the more those teeth wear down, the more that they are unable to break down what they are eating, and the less nutrition their stomachs can then absorb from what they're eating. Therefore, as they get very old, that backbone does sometimes become more prominent than usual. But as you can see, all of these elephants that we're looking at have a backbone that sticks out. It's very normal, even a younger one. So what I'm trying to say is a perfectly healthy elephant that is weighing the right amount will have its backbone sticking out somewhat. There are cases in the dry season you do see not only the spine sticking out, but when you start seeing the rib bones, then you can say, okay, this elephant is now on the skinny side. I've definitely never seen an overweight elephant, even though we think of them as very big, to get to a point where those spines aren't sticking out. I mean, that must be, I just don't think their bodies are designed to be able to even get to a point where they can carry even more weight than what they do. And also based on their diet. They're eating vegetation, which, they already have to eat so much just to get the minimum amount of calories needed to survive. So it almost seems a little bit ludicrous to imagine them being able to eat so much that they start gaining weight to become obese. Healthy weight, their ribs aren't sticking out, they're looking good. The spine will still possibly bend at the back like that. And like I say, as they get older, yes, that spine does become more prominent, or if they do have a disease that's affecting them and they are losing weight. Let's head up to Zimbabwe now and see what's happening at Wangi. Oh, lovely. We've got some wildebeest here, and these look like the most recent youngsters that were born right at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. And you can see the coloration is starting to change. They're starting to get grey necks. Oh, there's a beautiful grey-crowned crane. I remember these beautiful birds. This is quite a recently added waterhole, which is quite cool, and we're learning all about it. And one of the most amazing birds that we get to see here is the grey-crowned crane, and sometimes in quite large numbers. Also interesting to see these young wildebeest come and lie in the... Well, they're not really in the mud. I wouldn't consider them mud wallowing, but definitely cooling down, I think, with the little bit of wet moisture in the ground there. Well, now we're going to head over to Namibia and see what's happening at Onguma. Oh, beautiful. And what a perfect moment to explain to everyone watching who may ask the question multiple times, what is the difference between a springbuck or an impala? Well, here we go, everyone. This is exactly it. You've got the perfect opportunity to see an impala, a male impala in the background there, and some springbuck. It looks like they're both females, quite skinny horns, right in front of you. And there we go. You can see there are similarities, white on the belly, a little bit of brown on the side, but impalas are a lot darker brown on top of their bodies, and also a brown face in comparison to the springbuck that has a white face with some very prominent sort of tear marks or dark lines extending down the front. I do also find that impalas are generally a little bit bigger than a springbuck. Right, we're going to try and get that feedback for you as soon as possible, but till then we've popped back over to Tau where there are some elephants. I think this was the one that's closest to us with its bum facing towards us is the bull that sort of was walking in just before we left earlier. Lucy, hi. You'd like to know, do elephants know all their family members? Lucy, most definitely. Elephants are incredible and have, well, actually all animals, but, in reference to elephants in particular, they are some of the most emotionally intelligent animals. They have incredible memories, and they can, like many others, be able to identify their sort of family group by lots of different things, but scent being one of the most powerful for an elephant. And then I believe vocalizing as well. And there was an interesting study that I was reading the other day, shared with me about elephant vocalizations and having particularly different vocalizations for individuals. So like we would call each other by name, we can't say elephants have names for each other, in terms of the way we name things, but they do seem to, according to the research, actually have specific vocalizations or types of sounds that they make to communicate with specific individuals, which is amazing and just adds more and more to why we love these animals so much.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve, hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Best sighting I've presented, I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala, we got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special. Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a citizen, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do? Because we have another giant of Mabula. That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Wow, all of a sudden the elephants have appeared. Well, I feel like they were here, but they just came out a little bit more. That was the herd that I think was drinking earlier, and I think there's a big bull that's there making his way towards the water. I love watching elephant bulls approaching the water. They've got such a swagger to them. They just demand respect with their size, and elephants tend to also get very excited when they are coming to the waterhole, get a little bit of extra motivation and spring in their step. But it's just a really stunning scene here, taking in the sounds and enjoying the views of all these elephants around the waterhole. Ella, hi. You'd like to know if they'd take a swim in this dam to take off the red sand. They can, definitely. It does look like it's a cooler day today just because of the overcast weather. It doesn't look like the sun is peeping through. And usually when we see elephants having a bit of a pool party, it is very nice and hot. Not always, though. They do tend to do it whenever they feel like it. Usually when it's a bit hotter, but that's not to say that we won't see them take a bit of a swim. But if they did, it wouldn't necessarily be to get rid of the sand. That would be a nice byproduct for them to clean off their bodies, but it's more about just cooling down and having a bit of fun as well. That is a beautiful elephant bull, and we know it's a bull by a few different things that stand out firstly to me is his size, you know, how much bigger that he is in comparison to some of the other cows he was moving past. And then of course his genitals, he's got a penile sheath there between his back legs, and the tusks are just generally a lot thicker as well. You can see, look how much bigger he is than those ladies. Very, very interesting. And what a, like I say, this is a treat to have so many Ellies here for us. We're going to head over now to the hide at Wangi. Well, this is such a cool little spot here with a camera where we get an awesome view of whatever comes down to have a drink. And at the moment, it is an elephant. It's interesting how he's walking and stopping, listening to something, looking. I wouldn't say he's bothered at all. He's just noticing something that he's trying to work out. Look how that trunk sort of lifted slightly, and making a decision to rather turn around. So either he was curious and wanted to move closer to figure out if there was anything there. Maybe he answered the question with, there's nothing there, I'm going to carry on my way. Or whatever was there, there's no need to go any closer. I thought he was going to disappear completely, but it looks like he's just stopping there, maybe in some shade. Well, now that he's moved off, maybe he's going to start feeding, maybe find a spot to rest. But I hope he has a lovely afternoon. We are going to head back to the elephants at Tau.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild. Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Snakebite resistant or even immune to certain snake bites, not affecting them at all. As far as I'm aware, elephants don't have that property to their blood, so they are vulnerable to be bitten by snakes, of course, and they can be negatively affected, and depending on the snake, even possibly killed by a snake bite with the dose of venom, and that is some of the variable factors. So they can be bitten by snakes. If it's a dry bite, i.e. no venom injected, they're going to be perfectly fine. If it's a smaller snake with even a bigger snake, but they don't inject a full dose of venom, they could also be far more resistant to the snake bite than us as a human, for example, just because their body size is so big that they can it has a mild effect on them, let me put it that way, rather than, oh my gosh, there's a bit of trunk tying going on there. I thought they had tied them together completely. That's fascinating. Anyway, so for example, a cobra or even maybe a mamba that gives a full dose of venom into an elephant could probably kill it. Especially the younger ones, definitely. So they are vulnerable to snake bites, I think, is the bottom line. wildlife lady, I couldn't agree more. It's such a beautiful scene here at Tau, I really do make an effort to enjoy it as much as possible, really soak it in with the greenery and the elephants, the water, as well as the green, yellow flowers, because very soon we're no longer going to have this scene, and it's going to slowly but surely get drier and drier. And in a few months' time, we are going to long for the day when the rains come again. But that's all part of nature, all part of balancing everything out, and what the land needs to go through in order to sort of have a drier time, more time to conserve, and then wait for the wet season to arrive again. Deb Davis, hello, lovely to hear from you. You're asking if I was able to add any birds to my life list. I was, Deb Davis, I certainly was. And for those of you who may not know what Deb is talking about, in my week away, while I was in Zululand, one of the big things that I was going down with my husband to do was to look for birds. And I was very successful. And I have to give a shout out to the bird life guides who joined us during that time. Were just amazing. And one of the naturalists and presenters that are sometimes on the show during our live safaris is John Kinghorn, who represents bird life. And it was wonderful to have some of the bird life guides with us to be able to find so many species. And that included things like southern banded snake, eagle, green malkoa, buff spotted flufftail. I mentioned earlier the green barbet, eastern brown-naped pigeon, and then the critically endangered spotted ground thrush, which was just, oh my word, that is such a special bird. I think it is so beautiful. Very difficult to see. It camouflages so well into the leaflet of the forest. And then Rufous winged testicular, African yellow warbler, southern brown-throated weaver. Oh my word, the list goes on. I got 17 in total, so I'm very chuffed with that. And I highly recommend, if anyone wants any further info on birding in that area, please do feel free to reach out. I'd love to share it with you. Well, these flowers, I'm not actually sure what they are at this distance. It's a bit tricky to tell, but they are beautiful. And to see these elephants walking through them, oh wow, these are on a mission. I wonder if they're still heading to the water. You can just see they're starting to move faster. There's a bit of energy. And usually when elephants leave a waterhole, they're a lot more satisfied than when they arrive. So they move off a little bit slowly, unless, you know, they're sort of being chased off, or they need to move out the way quickly. Oh goodness, that is a huge bull. No wonder they're also moving quickly. I think he's putting a bit of pressure on them. Yes, all very, very excited to get to the water. And just, I mean, this is a perfect opportunity. That size difference I was talking about, that bull is massive in comparison even to the largest female of this group. Hannah, you'd like to know if the elephants will eat the flower? It does depend on the flower. There are some flowers that they avoid which are toxic or non-palatable to them. I don't see them eating very much of the flowers, but they can eat flowers, any sort of vegetation really. But I do know that they are known to avoid certain ones that are known to be toxic. Not to say that this particular yellow flower is toxic, it could be, but it could also be a type of plant perhaps that elephants don't enjoy eating. So, you know, they sort of avoiding it at the moment. Maybe it's very tough, maybe it doesn't have much nutrition to it.
If you're thinking about booking a trip with Wild Earth, do it. I highly recommend it.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
My full name is Mpho Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, it's my first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was at this Cedric when we had Mulwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
And this is the perfect example again of showing you that changing coloration as that big bull elephant starts to cool himself down with that bit of muddy water. Oh, it seems we just lost the feed there, everyone. I do apologize, but we'll be back there as soon as we can. And I believe this is also in Madikwe. It is Jamala. We haven't been here for a very long time, and it's so beautiful to see how green it's become, much like Tau, just a lot higher view, looking down over the waterhole for us to see. I remember spending a lot of time here during the course of last year and even a bit of the year before that, and really just seeing so many elephants that hung around here. It looks like they've moved up to the area of Madikwe where Tau is at the moment. But we also saw lots of warthogs and buffalo as well that came down here. And the sky is very pretty today. I was talking about it being a little bit more overcast, and you can see these sort of cumulus clouds that are dotted through the sky, which always make it very beautiful. Can definitely hear a lot of weavers somewhere close by that must be still busy building some nests. Alright, well, looks like we've got Tau back, so let's head back over there. amazing. This view is just, you just can't get tired of it, can you? Gavin, that's a very interesting question, actually, in terms of the dynamic between elephant bulls and the herd. You want to know, do the big bulls protect the herd? So, in the way we look at elephant social structure, not really. They are not permanently with the herds in order to protect them. It's actually the matriarch and the other older females in a herd that will protect the little ones. The bulls protect themselves. They compete for dominance with other bulls. They, of course, will attack any sort of threat that they feel towards themselves, and any thing that may not even be a threat but is just irritating them. They can, throw their weight around a little bit. But they are not there as a source of protection for the herd solely. I think in a case like this, should a threat come towards the elephants, the bulls may react, but more out of instinct than just protecting, feeling an obligation to protect. More, that if lions appear, although not really a threat to a huge elephant bull, they still don't like the sense of predators, no matter the size of the elephant, and will generally react. I've actually myself now been in a few situations where elephant has not reacted to lions and has had another mission in mind and not bothered about them whatsoever, or even a leopard. But on other cases, they do react and sort of trumpet and chase them away. It just really depends, I think, on the individual. So yes, as a matter of speaking, the elephant bulls do not play a protective role, and it's actually more the cows within the herd that do that.
We love all creatures in the African bush, from the biggest to the smallest, including the tiny little insects and arthropods. But some of them are not as charming as we'd like them to be. So that's why I trust peaceful sleep. And it lasts up to 8 hours too, so I can stay out longer, both at day and night, and not feel like I'm somebody's snack.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Well, these Ellies have been wonderful. I'm sure we may be back, but for now, let's head over to Founders. Oh wow! This is a treat from one big grey mammal to another. And these are also actually looking quite red. Here are some beautiful white rhinos that have come for a cool down at the waterhole. And it looks like the whole family's come out for a swim this Tuesday afternoon. Looks to be one rather large rhino here on the left, and then two smaller ones and a bigger one at the back. I'm not sure if these are females and calves or if there's a bull around. We'll just have to check when we get a chance. But nevertheless, a crash of 4 rhinos is fantastic. And this camera's in such a great spot. I almost feel like it's going to get sprayed with mud very soon. Well, I don't know if I've ever had such a good look at a rhino's bum, but there we go. If anyone wanted a close-up, this is the time. Oh, that one's having a bit of a chin scratch. Ellie, you say rhino babies are the same cute as Ellie babies. A personal opinion, they're cute, but you know, we love Ellie babies anyway. But rhino babies are just so sweet. I'm very excited to be heading back to Mabula very soon, and I'm excited to see if the little rhino calf that we had spent quite a bit of time with, how big it's grown, and maybe if there's another calf that's around to spend some time with as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, now it's time for the other side. Oh, this is fantastic. Dark Main Lover, hello. You say, wow, rhino, such a very special sight. I mean, without a doubt, we are limited in the amount of time that we get to spend and share these animals with you all. So to have such a beautiful view of them and to have them out here in the open and doing what rhinos really do best, having a lot of fun in the water. Oh, this little one, you can see it's exhaling under the water. It's creating some bubbles. Gavin, I don't think that conditions have to be perfect for them to wallow. I do think that it generally needs to be warm. I think that's really the only condition maybe that they would need, as well as there being water or mud around. You know, if there's no mud, or if it's the dry season and there's no pools for them to do this, they can't. So, you know, they're not fussy in terms of the quality of mud. It doesn't need to be a certain grain count for them to enjoy a bit of wallowing, and they really will use any sort of puddle or wallow that's available to them. Oh, look at that one using that rock to rub its chest. I imagine that rock is used quite regularly by these rhinos to rub on, reach those hard to reach places. it's very interesting to see the color differentiation there between the rhino on the left and on the right. The one was on the bank and the other was in the water. And you can see, oh, there we go, a bit of a bum rub. And now transferring some of the darker color, so it's clear that the mud that's in the water in this area is darker than the mud that's on the bank, more red in color. And that just has to do with the soil and how much iron oxide is in some of the mud and lacking in other areas. Jared's directing and he says it looks like they're having a team meeting about the mud wallow. I couldn't agree more. Discussing, what are your thoughts? How did you find the mud consistency? Is there anything that we can improve upon? Oh, well, I like the bank. The water was a little bit cold today, but we'll work on getting that warmer for you all. I really would have liked some pool service, being served some drinks at the pool, maybe a lounger. Or some snacks, maybe not water. I mean, drinks, they've got water available, but maybe some grass brought to them would have been nice. I love how this one's on top of this sort of mound. Oh, there's a head of a giraffe moving there in the background. I always love when giraffes come to this waterhole because when they approach, you just see sort of the ossicones and then the ears, and they sort of get gradually bigger. Oh, goodness me. Someone wasn't happy with somebody else. It sounds very much like rhino, that sort of, well, you heard it there.
My heart is pounding at the moment.
We are here in one of the best places in the world to see tigers.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
My full name is Emojis. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, and I'm very fast.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
I think the one nostril is actually underwater. So, it's just, he needs like a rock there. I feel like I want to get him a pillow just to help him be more comfortable. He's giving us such a great view at the moment. Yuri, I have not been here to Mantis Founders Lodge in the Eastern Cape. I would love to come and see this area. I think it's beautiful. Very much my sort of home neck of the woods, the Eastern Cape. And there are some beautiful reserves in the area that I know are doing some amazing conservation work. And this sort of different region, different biome, different vegetation. We were talking about that in the beginning of the show. And actually within the Eastern Cape there's multiple different types of biomes, but many of the game reserves, they're just different from areas, whether that's Zululand or the Lowveld or even Madikwe. So for me, the more wild areas that I can see and learn about, the better. So Yuri, hopefully one day I'll be able to see this spot for myself. Oh my goodness. What just happened? There was definitely... I mean, they made that typical baby rhino sound. Goodness. I'm not actually sure what happened there. Oh wait, there's the rhino. It looked like one just was chasing the little one. Goodness me. I feel like we need an instant replay of what just happened there. I don't know. They just came out of nowhere and they were so agitated. I wonder if that male will come back to the water. It looked like there was an older rhino that was upset with the calf and was chasing it away. And obviously in their line of running was this bull that was in the water, which added to the commotion. He's just deciding to have a bit of a scratch now. All seems to be calm again. Hannah, yes, wow, the sounds and that sort of squeaking is very much what we hear from baby rhinos or younger rhinos. Often, actually, at times it's when they are suckling, which is very cute. Unless it was this big boy that was just not happy with the others being close and he actually chased them. Yeah, now he's having a little bit of a scratch around the horn and the face, which they do love to do. But he looked very relaxed. It didn't seem like he was upset with anyone, unless that was a very sudden change in mood. But that younger one's mom could also be very protective, and if there was any sort of feeling that that little one was threatened in any way, she could also become quite aggressive even towards other males. But now we're just enjoying this boy having a scratch against what I think is many rhinos' favorite scratching tree here and stone. Okay, it looks like he may come back. There's a Cape wagtail there just in front of him. Small little bird with the bouncy tail. Now he could definitely roll that stone all the way over if he wanted to.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Gabby, I couldn't agree more with you. The view that we have here at Founders is so cool, especially for animals that come and sit in the mud. It looks like this rhino bull is now heading off, probably to go find some delicious grass to eat. That is the main diet for white rhino, is grass, quite strictly. And also the view, you know, we get this sort of skyline that is also stunning with the blue sky, and often here very pretty clouds that are now reflected in the water as well. Alright, well, now we're looking at a little paper wagtail, and I also saw there was a three-banded plover on the edge of the water. Speaking of birding though, let's head back over to Tau to do some. Oh, lovely. Well, I'm glad we are fitting in a few birds today. We've had so many elephants and now rhinos that there hasn't been much time to focus on them. But here is a grey heron. Oh, that's just doing some very effective preening. Getting rid of some old feathers there as he goes. Oh, there's some other birds moving there. Looks like red-billed teals, actually. And Egyptian geese with some babies. Or are they all babies? Are they all Egyptian geese babies? Very possibly. There's a lot of little ones there. Oh goodness me, no, they all are little Egyptian gooses. Wow. I can't wait for them to pop out, hopefully, and we can count them. I mean, that looked like at least 10, if not more, little goslings walking through the vegetation here. Lovely to see that so many of them have survived. Well, everyone, we are coming to the end of our show today. It's gone by so quickly, and what a wonderful show we've had. Plenty of elephants and rhino along the way. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you to everyone who sent through their comments and questions as well. We do appreciate it. We had some lovely chats today, a lot of interesting topics as well. So thank you so much for sending those through. Remember that later on this afternoon, there will be a sunset safari for all our explorers and YouTube members. Otherwise, we'll be back with our regular drives tomorrow, open to everyone. I've really enjoyed being back at the waterhole with you all, and I'll see you again later in the week. And I'm also looking forward to jumping behind the wheel again and joining you out on drives. But from myself and the Waterhole team, thank you for joining us today, everyone, and we hope that you have a pleasant day or evening ahead, depending where you are in the world.